Are you curious about the life of the middle class in Istanbul, Turkey? In this video, I'll describe how much the middle class in Istanbul earns, where they live, and what a typical week looks like. I will outline middle class life in Istanbul along these categories. In almost all major cities worldwide, the middle class is currently struggling. This also applies to Istanbul very much. Let's start with who belongs to the middle class in Istanbul. Typically, this is a married couple. Nowadays, most younger parents in Istanbul only have one child. Regarding work, both husband and wife are usually employed. They work either in the public or private sector. Salaries for public sector employees range between 1200 and 1800 euros per month. Examples of such jobs include technicians with high school diplomas, clerks with university degrees, teachers, nurses, police officers, lawyers, and engineers. In the private sector, salaries for similar positions with limited experience range between 1000 and 1800 euros per month. However, employees with more experience earn higher wages. This means the total household income for a middle-class family in Istanbul is typically between 2500 and 3500 euros per month. Now, let's look at the neighborhoods where they live in Istanbul. These green highlighted districts along the Bosphorus are the most beautiful and desirable areas in Istanbul. In here, there are some areas where the middle class can afford to rent, but mostly older apartments. However, most neighborhoods in these districts are too expensive. The majority of the middle class resides in these light green highlighted neighborhoods, which are close to the central districts. In here, it is possible to rent newer and larger apartments. Lastly, there are districts further away on both the European and Asian sides. However, commuting from these areas to the dark green highlighted districts takes several hours. Some middle-class families also own property in Istanbul. This is mainly in the light green or orange highlighted districts. Most of these homeowners purchased their properties before 2022 when prices were significantly lower. Today, buying property in Istanbul is extremely difficult for the middle class. However, many can still afford to buy property in other cities in Turkey. Next, let's talk about the cost of living in Istanbul. Rent in the mentioned neighborhoods ranges between 600 and 800 euros per month for a two-bedroom apartment. These figures apply to new rental contracts. Core living expenses, including bills, groceries, and transportation, add another 600 to 900 euros per month. This does not include a car, private school fees, or vacations. Private school tuition is in particular very expensive. These typically cost between 500 and 1000 euros per month. Top international private schools in Istanbul are even more expensive. If you're interested in a detailed breakdown of monthly expenses in Istanbul, check out this video here. Now let's go over a typical week for the middle class in Istanbul. Public sector employees work 40 hours per week, typically from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Work is generally less stressful. In contrast, private sector employees work 45 hours per week. The work week is either 5 or 6 days. A 5-day work week often means working from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also note, private sector work is typically much more stressful. On top of that, there is the daily commute. For those living in the mentioned districts, the total daily commute is between 1.5 and 3 hours. This applies to both cars and public transportation. Weekends are usually reserved for errands, family activities, rest, and enjoying Istanbul. So far, I've provided a general picture of middle class life in Istanbul. However, the middle class in Istanbul faces many challenges. Many are unhappy with their quality of life in Istanbul. In the second part, I'll explain in detail the issues of the middle class in Istanbul and discuss the key factors that influence happiness in this city. Thanks for watching.